Hello and thanks everybody for your time and interest to listen these audios. Just share time with us and trying to kind of be better on this type of best practices and sustainability. So today we have another special guest. Her name is Lindsey Kindrat. Lindsey, also thank you for your time and presence on this series. Thank you for that.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, of course. And yeah, pretty excited to see what you can share with us. Now, a little bit about you. It's my understanding that you are an executive director and sustainable building specialist of the company 3 Point Environmental. So, giving a little bit about my background with you, Lindsey, I can say that me as a profession, I have worked with you in only one project so far. Hopefully in the future we can just share more knowledge together and work together as well. So yeah, we have managed one project, which is BMS. Now they changed their name for Claystone Landfill. And
Right.
yeah, but I know that you have further background with better architecture. But before getting to specifics on that regard, can you give me a little bit of understanding about your background, maybe like in education or from where you are coming from? So if you can just give me more understanding about that.
Yes, of course. So I didn't set out to become a sustainable building specialist. It happened through an interesting sort of choices that I made along the way. So my undergrad is in a Bachelor of Science, and I had my heart set on being a geologist and then becoming an environmental lawyer. But when I moved to Calgary, I ended up getting a really cool job at the City of Calgary and dove right into the corporate properties and buildings department. So I was 100% of the time working with sustainable buildings and policies and programs around infrastructure, and the whole geology and environmental and earth sciences component was put aside for that, and I really never looked back. So my educational background is a Bachelor of Science, but it really doesn't, beyond the chemistry and some of the hydrology and physics, it actually doesn't relate a lot to what I do in my day-to-day.
Yeah, no, that's a pretty interesting background, Lindsey. It's amazing how everything can just turn out with a certain specialty, right? So sometimes we can think that nothing is related with one thing from another, and all of a sudden you still having these skill sets that are improving in certain ways, and once that you can just get focused on a specific industry, I think like somehow your brain is pretty focused on just trigger all the different components that you were using on other, maybe, I don't know, education or proficiency in certain skill, that everything can come together, and it's just trying to be focused on whatever is your industry right now, right? So now, what about 3 Point Environmental? So from where that name came from?
Well, the genesis of that name was kind of a funny story. When I was working at a construction company when I started my company, and I wanted a unique name, and someone that I was working with had suggested that I should look at the three tiers of sustainability. And I really liked that idea, because green building is really, it's a way of systems thinking, looking at all the interconnected pieces and parts. But the foundation of sustainability is 3 pillars: the financial, the environmental, and the social aspect. So I thought 3 Point had a more snappy name to it, and it was quicker to say and easier to articulate, and it wasn't maybe as expected. And environmental wrapped in a full suite of sustainability services that we had intended on, or that I had intended on providing. So beyond green building certification, we wanted to offer energy modeling and commissioning, and environmental management planning, and even environmental regulatory advisory services, which was part of my background. So that 3 Point came from the three pillars of sustainability, and environmental was that all-encompassing category of the services that we intended to provide.
Oh, that's a great approach. So, and I understand that when we were working together on building for offices for this company, I can remember that you have a pretty full team that back you up in certain different kind of aspect of these LEED certifications. So can you give me a little bit more of understanding about how your team is comprised?
Sure. I love my team. I can't say enough good things about them, and they really make every day interesting, and they challenge me, and they're such bright, young, committed professionals. Most of them are engineers. I think they're just drawn to the work by virtue of having either that background in energy management or construction, or we've had architects on our team as well. So I think the nature of the business and the lines of service we provide are very much coveted by those individuals in architecture and engineering and construction who are drawn towards the greener side of infrastructure. So my team demographic fluctuates, obviously, from year to year. We're a small company, which is often interesting and challenging, but it keeps us really tight-knit and very accountable to one another and very responsible for each other. So those checks and balances help us grow as a team, and I feel deliver really good client services. And I would say that if there's one adjective that describes the team, it's innovative, for sure. They're a really innovative bunch.
Yeah, the most of the time, if you want to kind of just do really good things, to have a really good team as well, right? So I know that for experience, and everything can just move smoothly if you have the proper person and personality in your team as well, right? So
absolutely, they're so much fun. I do love it.
No, that's good. So looking at your website, I noticed that you offer like other type of certification as well.
Sure. Yeah, there's a wide range of green certifications or green building labels, if you will. And I think the most recognizable of those would be the Leadership in Energy and Environmental Design program, so LEED. And within LEED, there's multiple typologies and systems for interiors, for new construction, for homes and existing buildings, and also LEED for neighborhood development, which we're fortunate enough to be working on a LEED for neighborhood development project in Toronto. There's also the BOMA BEST program, which is very much supported by the BOMA membership and that community across Canada, very focused on existing building operation and maintenance, and also Built Green. And Built Green Canada is a really strong supporter of providing a program that's very detailed and very construction focused, that's been, I think, more readily adopted by the construction industry because it makes sense. It's very spec based and it's very construction focused. So there's a lot of familiarity and a lot of confidence with the user groups who are applying that system. And then we have well building expertise on our team, and well looks at the human experience, the occupant experience, and the wellness and the light and the comfort and the health, the nutrition, the activity, even the food of the interior environment, and the impact that building has on the occupants. So well is becoming a very, I think it's a more progressive rating system, and it's moving us away from that strict adherence to energy performance and maybe the more engineering and technical aspects, and it's really focusing back on the human experience and that is kind of warm and fuzzy social aspect of sustainability.
Yeah, I think you're trying to be or managing to be the package in your company, right? So basically, it's not only just targeting for one path, but also have like variances on what the potential client will require, right?
Yeah, we want to be able to give people options, and we're not married to a specific rating system. We're not married to a specific way of doing green or delivering a green building. We've devised a customized program for a First Nations building that is specific to their culture and the Blackfoot ways, and it incorporates very similar themes of sustainability, but it's 100% customized to this First Nations community. So there's a lot of flexibility and a lot of creativity that we can have with devising and exploring new ways of green building. So it's a lot of fun.
Oh yeah, no, that's for sure. So now I'm going to be a little bit biased on what you have worked with Bear Architecture, right? So the last biggest project that you are participating right now with this West Park Middle School here in Red Deer. So can you talk to me a little bit more about your experience dealing with that project with us?
West Park Middle School was really unique from the very beginning because first of all, your team they came at it from a different perspective. And I think that's indicative of Barrie Architecture's approach. And George was really keen on having the students involved from day one. So that was amazing and a one-of-a-kind experience we've never had. We always want to have the kids involved, but we rarely get to see that happen. But they were there sharing their ideas and talking about really cool, fun stuff. And some of it made amazing sense as well. I mean, they were looking at things like slides, but they were also talking about having iPod chargers in their lockers, which are things that we just don't think about. So that was, I think that layer of the student input and that, if you want to call it stakeholder engagement, was very unique. Red Deer Public School was very much involved. They were very supportive. All their teachers took the Green Classroom professional training, which again is unique and something that we'd never encountered before. And we were so happy to see them just really encouraging that sustainability learning. And the green building program that was initiated in the school and implemented through signage and their eco club and the visual displays, it was just a really amazing, multifaceted approach to building a greener school, from construction and design and operations, and just the commitment of everybody involved. So it was a great project. We're currently waiting to hear about the LEED certification status. It's in submittal stage right now, so we're hoping for positive news very soon.
Yeah, as you were mentioning, it was a pretty unique process, right? Where most of the time, we always talk about what are the actual needs from the final user, right? But I can remember several charrettes, right, where the actual final user was taking decisions in the schematic design phase. And it was amazing that, of course, 100% of all the different decisions that we took at those charrettes were incorporated. But I can say that it was a big bunch of different needs that the actual kids were requiring, and we were trying to kind of just put their requirements in as a priority. And I think a big chunk of those decisions were made it through in the whole process, right?
They did. You're right. And to me, that's meaningful and valuable stakeholder engagement. It's not just a paper exercise, but it's a process of engagement and encouragement and that collaborative conversation that actually manifests in seeing that green vision come through to reality. And that's the intention of it. And that's the beauty of it. I wish we could do that on every project.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that's basically the hidden values that we almost never kind of share, but at some point when you have a product finalized, right, trying to see the background of the whole process is pretty great. It's pretty awesome. So yeah, we can call ourselves pretty proud about that project, and of course all the team that made that work, right? You included as well, so thank you for that.
You're welcome.
Yeah, of course. So the other thing is that we always talk about what was the great scenario, right? So if you can name some of your strugglings during that process, talking merely with the LEED process, what was the main struggle or the main learning curve that you can consider that, okay, well, that is something that I need to kind of take in consideration for future projects?
Well, it's interesting to look back and think of challenges or struggles, because really it's hard to pinpoint any one thing because the delivery of a building is I look at it as a system, right? So I was once called the spider in the middle by one of my clients because I've got all these little webs and threads reaching out all over the place. So if I feel that part of that web is failing or is weakened, then we bolster it. And so we're so quick to fix or respond to what needs to be fixed that nothing really remains a challenge for very long. I think what, like any project, the most challenging piece would be closing it out, getting everything ready and finalized, and keeping everybody's, let's say, energy level high to the end, because I'll say that we're stuck with this thing until it's certified and everyone else has gone off to the four corners to start the next project. But we're still working on the certification and liaising with the Green Building Council to make sure that LEED or that built green or that WELL plaque is provided for the owner. So I think when there's that push at the end to get those last little fragments of information, those last little pieces of the web that have to be tied off, that's where people can start to lose steam, and we need to insert more energy into the process. And so I think that is and will continue to be one of the main struggles that we see.
How do you like it so far? Thank you for being with us. If you want to know about the following part, just keep in touch and follow us for the next part of this episode. And please don't forget to leave me a review on whichever platform that you're using to listen in this podcast. Either good or bad. Remember, Mexicans have thicker skin. You won't hurt my feelings, that's for sure. And better yet, if it has some good criticism, so I can learn from it and improve it, that will be even greater. I understand this hasn't been perfect, but it can be better every time. I recognize your time is valuable. I would like you to enjoy this moment with me as well. Also, if you like what you get from this audio, I will recommend you to be the first to share this info with your friends, so maybe they can get something valuable from it as well. Thanks for listening, and let's meet again soon.